Sometimes letting it out can make a big difference.
Oh yes.
And sometimes you gotta let your heart speak.
You gotta let your heart speak. You gotta let it out. No matter what you're going through. Yeah. I know how you feel. I know it's hard to reveal. But let your heart speak. Sex, they say no. Yes, true. Love knows. True, the pain goes. Love knows. It's true. True, the pain goes. Love knows.
Tina had very high hopes about Mark because things were going along so well with them, and she thought they were headed towards a serious relationship. He even told her she had all the qualities he was looking for a wife. So what else could possibly go wrong? Where does this beautiful story end? This is the letter of Tina. Hi, I'm Joe the Mango. Hello and welcome to another episode of Love Notes. Dear Joe, in my heart, mind and soul, it will always be a memory that made me realize that there are only two kinds of people in the world. One who makes things happen, and one who waits for things to happen. I hope that this serves as a challenge, lesson, and inspiration to all those who have loved and lost it. Joe, I met Mark on a New Year's Eve party I would have avoided if I could have come up with a good enough reason not to be there. As I unenthusiastically drove to the party, I plotted an early escape. Until a tall, dark-haired man greeted me near the front door. Mark was from New York City but was in Washington, D.C. for a post-Christmas vacation visiting a former roommate. I liked him immediately, and he talked easily about his family and the graduate school. And his comical impersonation lit up the room as we waited for midnight. Witty, confident, intelligent, I went through my mental checklist of qualities, Joe, that I desired in a mate, and realized that Mark fit the bill more than anyone I have met in years. I watched him weave through the room, talking and joking with people, and I felt something inside me twist with nervous excitement. When he caught my eye later and motioned that we could talk quietly in one corner of the room, I hoped that the attraction I felt was mutual. We had 5 days, Joe, before he drove back home, and we crammed as much as we could into that time. We toured museums, the White House, we went to the Pentagon, and all other botanical gardens in Virginia. And lastly, watched a play at the Kennedy Center, which turned out to be really romantic. While it snowed almost every day and I was exhausted for the lack of sleep, I wore a permanent and ridiculous smile because of Mark. Finally, the person I've been waiting and praying for had come into my life. It had been a long wait, Joe. 1.5 years had passed since I dated anyone seriously. And I'd spent much of that time agonizing over my singleness. Again and again, I wonder why God hadn't chosen me for the blessing of marriage. The whole world seemed different after I met Mark, Joe. He told me that I had all the qualities. He was looking for a wife. My heart pounded with the anticipation of all that lay ahead of us. I was so excited. He was my answered prayer from God. Several months later into our interstate relationship, 6 to be exact, Mark's phone calls came less frequently, and the warmth of our first conversation slowly cooled. I prayed harder and tried to ignore the signs that our relationship was faltering after only 6 months. Finally, Mark sent a polite letter why he didn't see a future for us. The note was typewritten, Joe, and its tone was painfully businesslike. He said, "Whenever I think about us, I consistently come up with reasons why you'd be a wonderful choice. Yet there's a knowing feeling I'm missing, and It is one that I must have. Unfortunately, I don't know how to acquire it. It simply has to be there. He closed with an apology, then simply signed his name. Joe, I read the letter again and again and again, trying to let the words sink in, and at the same time trying to find some hope that might have worked its way between the lines. But there was none. The person I thought God has sent me was gone. And up until now, at 28, I haven't found the right man yet. It's becoming frustrating, thinking if I'll ever meet someone like Mark again. Sometimes, Joe, I feel like giving up. I'm tired of getting in and out of a relationship for the past 8 years now. What shall I do, Joe? The only thing that keeps me busy now is my work. And I'm tired of weeknight dates and socializing on weekends, hoping to meet Mr. Right again. Am I a loser, Joe? All of my friends have engagement rings already, and I really feel bad that I have none. I desire to be held in the arms of a man who will say he loves me and make it real. I don't want to call myself single or taken, but just reserved. Reserved for the one who deserves my heart. Thank you, Joe, for your time in reading my letter. All the best to you. Hugs from the capital city, Tina. Tina, to long to love is the most natural feeling a human being can ever have. But it could also be very frustrating because people who will want you as much as you want them sometimes don't come along too often. It must have been even more frustrating because things were going well with you and Mark, and you were sort of quite sure you were headed towards something serious and something beautiful. But then he's suddenly not into you anymore. And worst, you were left wondering in the dark about the real reason why he suddenly felt he's missing out on something. Tina, while it might seem like Mark was really into you when you first met in the first few months of your long-distance relationship, I really feel deep inside me that he really wasn't into you that much. In the 6 months that you communicated, I would want to think that he tried to be as positive as he can with your relationship, thinking that his feelings would work out. And it did. But unfortunately, not in your favor. Tina, I hope you won't dwell on the thought that it had something to do with you. Whatever it is that made him back off was not within your control. It's all going on in him, in his mind. And he probably has issues that he still needs to sort out. And for now, he's better off by himself. This failed relationship doesn't have to define you. Not having an engagement ring doesn't make you a loser. That tiny strip of gold clad in your finger cannot guarantee happiness. Tina, every relationship teaches us a lesson, whether it's successful or not. It's always a learning experience. And failure, no matter how hard it comes, will always have a way of making us better persons if we look beyond the pain and understand the purpose behind it. To all the single women watching right now, I just like to remind you that there is no point worrying about remaining single when you're 35 or 40 or whatever age your fear benchmark is. Live one day at a time. Enjoy and celebrate your singlehood. Not having a boyfriend doesn't mean you can't have meaningful and fulfilling relationships. Explore wholesome connections. Don't buy into the expectation of your family or your friends that you have to be in a romantic relationship to be happy. Sometimes it is when your life is not focused on dating that you find and meet someone worthwhile. Don't give up, Tina. Believe me, the curtain of life doesn't close at 28. For all you know, there will be another tall and dark-haired man who will come your way again. He wouldn't be Mark, but he would be someone better than him, and someone who would not write you a goodbye letter. Tina, always remember that singleness is as much as a gift from God as being married. So be thankful in this season and make the most out of it for as long as you have it. Stay pure, decent, and respectable, and be accountable to others. Continue to trust that God and His timing for your relationship and His plan and purpose for your life is always perfect. It's always worth looking forward to. Thank you for writing, Tina. God bless you. And to all of you, this is Joe the Mango, praying that we will all remain fruitful in our relationships and joyful in every season of waiting. God bless you all, and see you all again next week.
Sometimes
letting
it out can make a big difference.
oh yes,
And sometimes you gotta let your heart speak.
you gotta let your heart speak. You gotta let it out, no matter what you're going through. Yeah. I know how you feel. I know it's hard to reveal, but let your heart speak. Sex, they say, yes, true. I'm not